Hello guys, Nigel here. This is probably the longest sprue review I've ever done. So for those of you that just want to see the kit parts and aren't interested in the instructions and stuff, if you go forward to about 47 and a half minutes, you'll see the plastic come out of the box then. Okay, enjoy. Hi everybody, Nigel here with you again, Nigel's Modeler Bench on a Friday, and it is Friday the 17th of December 2021, so we're nearly at Christmas. In fact, this is the last Friday of the year, isn't it, that isn't sort of Christmas Day, because next Friday will be Christmas Eve. So, woken up this morning surprisingly with a knock at the door by the postman. In fact, I say postman, it wasn't the postman, the usual guy in his shorts. It was a lovely young lady stood there, so it was quite a nice good morning, hello, how are you? I got a parcel today that I was expecting tomorrow that I bought on Amazon, and it was delivered by Royal Mail, so phew, God only knows. And here it is, and you can all guess where it's come from. It's come from Jad Land Models and Hobbies because it's in a plastic bag with some cardboard around it. So what I shall do is open the bag, okay, and we'll get inside just like so. I do wish they packaged their models a bit better. I mean, I love Jad Land, the prices are great and everything, but yeah, packaging sometimes leaves a bit to be desired, doesn't it? So I've read stories about people having like Tamiya 48 scale aircraft kits sent out in a jiffy bag, which is not ideal. So there we go, there's the bag, that's the bag gone, and then we can slide the kit out, and the kit is upside down, so I'm going to get it the right way up, and then you can all see it. Let's have a look, and it's the right way up, and you can see, yes, Martini stripage, and there we go. This is the brand new toolkit from Italeri. This is the Lancia Delta HF Integrale 16 valve, and it is a beautiful kit, I think. I don't know much about it. When I saw that it was being made by Italeri, I was like, and then I heard that Tamiya were involved with it as well, so maybe things would be a bit better. Let me just get my extra thin pots down there, and I can stand the box up there so we don't get the reflection of the light. Yes, we do. So anyway, but that's it there in all its glory. That's the actual kit on the box front. That's not a real car, that is the actual model itself, unless they've used a model... what's it, a factory model hero kit, but I very much doubt it. So yeah, basically this kit has just come out on the market over in the UK, and it is basically 220 quid, I think 230 quid, but there are some bargains around. You can see here we've got the tape which needs to be taken off. There are some bargains around. For instance, this I got on Amazon for 179 quid, so yeah, not going to worry about that. So you know, you're not going to worry about paying 220 quid for it. So there we go, that is it. And you can see over here what it's saying on here. It's 100% new molds, highly detailed model. We'll see about that. 2 super decal sheets with exterior markings and composite material parts. That's going to be Kevlar, not carbon fibre. Photo etched fret and chrome parts, yay. Accessory set with hoses, screws and springs. That's always good to see on a large scale. Front and rear opening bonnet. I think they mean front and rear opening bonnet and tailgate. Opening front doors, highly detailed interior, engine bay faithfully reproduction. Yeah, we'll see about that. Working suspension, rubber tyres, okay, and steering wheels. Okay, so it doesn't mean it's got 2 steering wheels, it means the wheels can steer. So, going around the box, let's have a look. The kit number, as I say, brand new kit, number 4709. Looks like it's proudly made in Italy, where the cars came from. And we've got 2 versions here, and we've got the Biasion Siviero and the Oriole Ocelli cars here, both from 1990, the Monte Carlo rally. So we're going to have the nice big fat tyres and the big air scoops cooling the brakes. If you ever want to get your cars with the, you know, the rally cars without the sort of skinny tyres and stuff, if you go for Monte Carlo, you should always be okay. So here we've got the colour call outs, and as you can see we've got the conglomeration with Tamiya here, TS26 and TS49, X2 and X7, and then they've got their own acrylic colours here called out, which I've never actually tried, but I hear they're quite good. I don't know what they're like. You can see there we've got the photo etch, and we've got 2 large decal sheets. We've got the decals there with all the Martini logo on, and then we've got another one here with all our Kevlar and everything for our seats, which is nice. And then here's some history about the car, so I'll bring that up to the camera and then you can have a read of that if you want to without the bloody light reflecting in it. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so there we go. So going around the end of the box, there's nothing much to see. It's really too big to show you. It's 32.6 centimeters long, and then going around the other side, we've got more of this horrible bloody tape. Looks like it's been opened and then retaped, doesn't it? Which is a bad sign, because it could be a return that's been re-sent out. So we shall see. Let's have a look. Right, so let's have a look around the box here. You can see this is going to be the prototype kit. Bloody light, go away. Right, this is the prototype kit. So you can see here that's the actual model built up, as you can see. You can see we've got a lot of photo etch detail, and we've got a photo etch instrument panel, photo etch sun visors. We've got some nice cloth harnesses there. Got the air cooling ducts for the front, vents for the roof for the air cooling. So all very nice indeed, really. So there we go. So I'm just going to pause a minute and get this lighting sorted out, because it's getting on my nerves, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got the light in a good place now. It's not good for the glossy box, but it'd be good for everything else. So lift the lid off. This is the first time I've done this. And as we can see inside, we are confronted with a massive decal sheet, which is really nice. So we'll go look at that straight away. And yeah, really nice. Cartograph, so that's good. We've got a little cartograph logo down there. And we've got all our martini stripes. Looks like we've got to paint the red. And then we've got our Sparco sponsor bits and pieces there. Rally Monte Carlo Martini. Got our Turin number plates. Some decals and stuff for the instrument panel, decals for the seat belts, all very nice indeed. You've got some sponsors decals down the side there, but they're nice and glossy. They've got very little carrier film on them. The gold on the Martini is exquisite, it's beautiful. So yeah, really nice. I'm glad they got Cartograph to do the decals at least, so that's a really good touch. Nice touch, should I say. So we'll put those over there out of harm's way. Nice to see they put them in top of the box. Other manufacturers, you need to look at this. A lot of manufacturers stick them in the bottom of the box, face up, and then all the sprues rattle around and knock about and ruin the decals. So, and here's the carbon fibre, not carbon fibre, the Kevlar ones. So you can see we've got the brownie Kevlar and the orangey type Kevlar. It's even actually got a bit of a texture to it. But you can see there's a little bit of damage on there, look where it's been in the sprues. But I can show you it'd be a lot worse if it was at the bottom of the box. So we've got tyre decals there, so we've got plenty of spares by the look of it. So we've got all our Kevlar bits for our floor panels and bits and pieces. These are obviously for the seats. We've got the rear heating element for the rear screen, which is nice. I've never seen that before on a model. And there's the surrounds for the harnesses going through the seat belts. So yeah, we've even got little decals there for the wheels, like the little speedline decals for the bottoms of the wheels. The bottoms of the wheels, the fronts of the wheels, what we're talking about. So we'll get those out of the way. Then we've got a sheet of PE. Very nice indeed. So there's some floors there. It looks like these are mud flaps. We've got some mesh back there. So yeah, we've got lots of buckles there for the harnesses, as you can see there. Very nice indeed. We'll get that out in a minute. Instructions, colour call-outs. And then we've got clear sprue on the top. All beautifully done. Very nice clear parts, I must be honest. And then we've got a sprue of, well, two sprues in one bag there. We've got white and grey parts in here. We've got black parts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sprues. That's all. Not a lot. 8 sprues. And then we've got 9 sprues here. We've got the chrome. And then here we got use this nut as 01. So that's probably why the box has been opened. They've discovered that they made a mistake. And they are tiny. And then we've got our bits and pieces. We've got some copper wire in there, tubing, belt material, which is all very nice. And then in here we've got our bag with our body. Now I have heard some people say that the bodies are turning up warped. It looks like I am a lucky boy, because that doesn't look warped to me at all. But we'll have a look in a minute. So let's do what we normally do with my reviews. We'll start off by having a look through the instructions, and then we'll get the kit out, get our kit out and have a look. So first of all, let's have a look at the painting and decals guide. Nice matte paper, thank you. So we've got no reflectivity. Just going to zoom you in a bit, just get you in a bit closer. There we go. So I'll come out a bit actually. There we go. So painting and decals guide. Lancia is a trademark of and licensed by the FCA Group companies. If you're wondering why I've got this, I'm a bit of a Lancia petrol head, or Lancia. Lancia is the way everyone in the UK says it, but the correct pronunciation is Lancia. If you're watching this because you're a Lancia fan, you will be aware of the replica Group 5 Monte Carlo that goes around the UK scene. I don't know who owns it now, but I actually built that car. And so yeah, that was all my work, and I sold it basically needing a few bits to finish the engine and wiring, really. Unfortunately, I was going through a breakup at the time. I was having to buy a smaller house, and there's no way I had room to put it. I wish I'd never sold it, because I have more than enough room for it now. But yeah, if you're familiar with the Group 5 Monte Carlo that's going around, I know it's been at the NEC a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago. So yeah, if that's the car you've seen, that I built that. And if you're as old as me, if you remember back in Castle Coo in the early days when they first got back into sprints, there was a guy there who was sprinting a stripped and caged red Lancia Beta Monte Carlo. Again, that was me. So yeah, a bit of a Lancia history. I've had a few Monte Carlos. Sorry, not Monte Carlo, Beta Coupe. I've had a few of them. I've had a Monte Carlo, which I turned into the Group 5. And yeah, basically that's my history. I've never had an Integrale. I wish I'd had one, and now they're too expensive, so I'll never be having one. Anyway, but I've just ordered a Toyota GR Yaris, which is probably the next best thing. Anyway, so I say just ordered. I just ordered about 6 months ago, and I've got about another 7 months to wait. So right, so as I say, kit number 4709, painting and decals guide. So here we go, and it's nice to see we've got this colour guide here, and it's nice they've done it in matte so I can show it without all the light reflecting everywhere. But we've basically got Tamiya TS49, Tamiya TS26. I'll be using other paints, I won't use aerosols. I'll be doing it in 2-pack. So it looks like, yeah, we've got to paint the red, so that's all cool. And then we've got all the different decals going on. So this is, basically looks like the schemes are exactly the same. All that changes is the actual number. So you've got 1 or 7. So there we go. And on the back here, what's this? Oh, I see. They've made paper masks for the red. So that's cool. So all we've got to do with that is photocopy it. So what we'll do is we'll come along with a rule. We'll make a line down here and up there. 10mm, 10mm. We'll photocopy it. Make sure it's exactly the right size. And then we can cut these out, transfer them onto masking tape, and then put them on the model. Or what you can do is actually glue these on with like a rubber cement or something. But probably better to transfer them onto masking tape. If you saw my Vulcan build, you'll see I did that with the air intakes. Transferred the decals, the paper mask. I made a bit of a pig's ear of it, to be honest. But a lot easier way is just copy it out again. And then cut these out. Or cut them out of this if you want to. Photocopy. Perhaps photocopy that where size isn't critical. And then cut this up. And then use that on your model with masking tape. There's some nice colour call-outs. Assembly instructions here. So yeah, I thought it was going to be like this. I was looking at Paul's video the other day of a kit he did, and it was just basically typical Italeri flat white instructions, but with a sort of glossy outer sleeve. So that's what this is. We've got a glossy outer sleeve here. We're showing a sprue. And then again we've got the colour images there, and then we've got the image down here of the built up model, which is a nice touch. So got some actual information about the Lancia the Delta Integrale itself in 6 different languages. We'll have some health and safety, like don't stick parts in your ears, or don't like try and eat chrome. And then going over the page here, we've got the sprue call outs, which is nice. So they're all numbered and everything, very, very clearly numbered. We've got obviously one of the wheel here which isn't used, so we've got 2 of these sprues. So we're going to have the 4 main wheels and then the 1 spare. Chrome parts there, body shell itself, body exterior parts, and then our glazing and tyres and everything. Telling us here, remove chrome and paint where parts are to be glued together. Parts not for use, so it's just those 2 there. So looks like we've got this one and there's not going to be anything else. I'm just, maybe they'll do an S4, I don't know. So here we got, these are the symbols we're going to use. That's telling us to use super glue, normal cutting, drilling, Hot rivet. So we're going to be going back to that. Are we 1960s Tamiya with the hot rivet? So you're going to get a screwdriver and heat it up and melt the plastic to make a pin on the end. And then we've got here more body parts and suspension parts there. There's our big PE, all the different types of tubing. Make sure you don't get confused which ones you're using. Nylon net, red satin strip, 120, it's over a metre on there. Four coil springs, and then we've got all our colour callouts here: flat light grey, rust, steel, ocean grey, aluminium red, silver, black, azure blue, insignia yellow, gloss orange, flat white, and gunmetal. Actually, I've just made some azure blue for my Tamiya Spitfire, so there we go. Choose version before assembly. What version? What are they talking about? Choose version before assembly. There are two versions and they're both the same. Don't know what that's all about. So, shape the PE foot pegs on the car's floor. Oh dear. Right, so these are the floor panels that go in. These are Kevlar floor panels that go in that protect the actual steel floor pan of the car and enable the feet to slide easier for the driver and everything. So they're going to be, they also lift their feet up a bit as well, I think. So they've got to be shaped to the car's floor. I'm not sure how they've got to be shaped, but I have to look at some reference material for that. I'll do a little experiment because the PE was stainless steel, as we can see here. So it's probably going to have to be annealed. I'll see if we can anneal it and do that. So we're building up the bulkhead here. We've got the shelf there, that's sort of halfway up the bulkhead, and then we're adding our master cylinders for our brake and clutch. That's going to be brakes. Don't know where the clutch one is, probably inside. And then we've got some hoses going on. So I hope these bends aren't too tight, because generally what happens with this stuff is this vinyl hose, when you bend it, it tends to kink. But no, this stuff looks different, so you'll have to see. So yeah, we'll see how that looks. And then we've got that going in. We've got the fire extinguisher going in here. They're telling us to paint that G. So yeah, it's flat aluminium. It's not flat aluminium. It's very, very shiny. So we'll be doing those in our LP colours and polish, or even the Mr. Colour colours and polishing them up. We've got decals to go on them. Then we've got what looks like a fuel tank going in there. Or is that a battery box? Battery box actually. And our floor panels going in there. So nice all round. So got some nice detail. Floor part there going in. So recommended, if you looking at how you're going to build this, you need to seriously go through the instructions and have a good look at what they're telling you, because for example, I would be tempted to glue the bulkhead parts together, glue them into the floor pan, glue this part, because this is part of the pressed metal structure of the floor, glue that in, and then paint it, and then start adding your details. It's crazy to paint the floor and then have to add that on top. I think the interior is all silver, like a metallic silver grey, very high gloss, so probably best to give it something like a, an LP61. LP61, maybe a little bit too dark. LP70 maybe, I don't know. Maybe the sparkling silver would be cool in there, but maybe a mix of the LP colours. We'll see when we come to build it, and then get the inside coloured and then get a nice clear coat on it, because the inside of these cars were generally very glossy. So we've got more body parts going in, so again, get that glued on before you start painting the floor and everything. We've got our pedal assemblies here. It looks like we've got photo etched pedals. Yes, we have. We've got photo etched pedals by the look of it, which is a nice touch. Why are there 4 of them? They're not the pedals, they're the pedals there. So yeah, nice touch. We've got photo etched pedals, so they're going to look lovely. Gear linkage here going in, all very to scale and everything. Separate gear knob, separate gaiter. And then we've got that's going to be the mount there for the spare wheel, I'm guessing. And then this is the hydraulic handbrake. Notice we've got no hosing or anything going in, so you want to add that because that's going to be quite obvious. There will be piping going through the car. Putting the steering column in, it's telling us the steering is not connected. Attention, the steering wheel is not connected. So what they're telling us here is don't put the steering wheel on first, because obviously the dashboard's going to go over. It looks like, yes, we have. Not functional. PC19, it's a retainer for the steering column. So it's a bit weird. It looks like we've got a gear here, it goes on the end of the steering column, but it's telling us it's not functional. I don't know. We shall see. Don't know whether they're going to have you steering the wheels with the steering wheel or not, or even what's normally best if it's all plastic, which it probably is. It's best to not try and turn the steering wheels with the steering wheel. Just move the wheels and the steering wheel will go with them. Usually putting too much strain on all this to turn everything. Is telling us to clean here. So there's obviously a couple of sprue marks on there. And then we've got the steering column going in. As you can see, there is a gear on there and there's a gear on there. So it looks like the steering is going to work, even though they tell you it's not going to. I don't know. We'll see when we come to build it. Clean to easy, interlocking of the ends, do not paint. So they're making sure they're all nice and floppy, basically. Dashboard assembly going here. So we've got the instrument decals going on there. Then we've got a photo etch panel going on there. Then we've got the decal going in front of it. So that's all very nice. That's going to look really good. Got some photo etch here. So that's that. And that's going to be like a notes holder, a map holder. We've got decals there for the air vents. We've got the little parcel shelf there to the left of the steering column. Then we're adding the top of the instrument panel again. I would fit this on first before you do anything. Paint all the instrument panel and then start doing all your bits and pieces after. Because if you've got a big gluey seam along there, you don't want to be getting glue over your nicely fitted parts on there. Oh, and then we've got clear, looks like clear parts. Is F the clear sprue? Let's have a look. Back here, F is the clear sprue. So we've got clear faces going on the instruments there. That's a really nice, that's not an air vent, that's an instrument. So clear faces going on instruments, which is a really nice touch. Nice one, Italeri. But I would be tempted to fit them before you fit this decal here. Because, in fact, I might even be tempted to fit them in the back of the PE part and then fit it on, because otherwise any misalignment or whatever is going to look awful. But we'll have a look at that when we come to build it. Lots and lots of decals here for the instrument panel. And then we've got our stalks going on, 3 separate pieces there. There's that piece there going on the steering column. There, down here, down the bottom, look, down here. See, my little finger's here. My finger is here. Don't fit that one. That's going on the bottom, so that's going to slide over the steering column. That's where they're telling you not to fit the steering wheel. So that's going to go over there. It looks like the fuel tank's appeared. I didn't notice the fuel tank going in. Oh yeah, I completely missed that. I was waffling about the paint in the body, wouldn't I? So you've got the fuel tank going in there, so that's going to have plenty of painting and everything. If you're going to build one of these and you want to see some real detailed painting that they're not really showing you in here, and some extra plumbing and pipework and stuff, if you go onto YouTube, where you are now, and look up Factory Model Hero, Model Factory Hero 1/12 Lancia. There's a guy on there, Model Car Guy or something, and he's actually done a piece by piece, every single joint, screw, bit of painting, everything, all the way through in like a 59-part video series, and you'll see in there all the colour call-outs and all the details, so you can actually add all your details according to that, because there's some bits missing from down here. There's lots of plumbing that goes around down here. So anyway, I digress again. So we've got a nice decal for the steering wheel. We've got the Momo decal going on the steering wheel there, so that's a nice touch. And then there's a view of it all assembled. So very nice indeed. There's also going to be plumbing for that fire extinguisher, which isn't here. So option, use Kevlar decal sheet B. Why is it an option? Or paint it D. So I'm assuming D is going to be like a mustard yellow colour. Let's have a look. D is flat black. Okay. So you're going to paint it black and then put the decal on. But yeah, you really want that Kevlar decal on there because it's going to make it pop. And then we've got that's going to be the header tank for the cooling system by the look of it. I'm assuming it's too small to be a dry sump tank. I'm assuming these were wet sump. And then we got our 3 master cylinders going in there for the 2 brake master cylinders and the clutch, which is a nice touch. All the piping in there, so they're all plumbed in. They're going to look really nice. And then we're adding in this rear shelf and the rear bulkhead or firewall. You've got the rear cross member there. The Integrale, I noticed in the build that guy's doing, a cough in there. Yeah, instead of having both harness straps coming back, or both from each harness is coming back and wrapping around the rear bar, they just have that one coming in, and then they have one more going back onto the cage. So don't know why they've done that, but maybe just to make sure they stay apart or something, I don't know. But very unusual, never seen that before. It's saying on here, for the seat belts, use the red satin stripe. To make it more workable, spread a thin layer of white glue slightly diluted in water and let it dry. For complete seat belts. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to find something. If you guys know it, please, if you're keen car modelers, let me know in the comments below. I would like to find something I could paint on there that would make them kind of almost like lead. So instead of them just being all floppy and springy and going where they want, almost like you've got a nailed photo etch, so you can put them in and then just press them down and get them to where you want and they just stay there. That would be nice. So that's something I'd like to know if you guys know. So you're adding those in now. Again, looking at the assembly, you could actually probably not fit this in now. You could fit the bulkhead, but you could probably get away with not fitting this shelf, and then you'll be able to put your harnesses all in together when the seats go in, like here. Because you've done nothing. You don't need to do this now. You don't need to do any of this now. You could actually miss that out and go on and then do this when you've got your seats in. I'm sure you could. Unless there's part of the roll cage. No, I'm guessing you could probably do all that after you've done the seats and the roll cage and everything. And you might want to put the harnesses in the seats before the roll cage. Don't know. But anyway, we'll have a look at that. So there we go. Another suggestion I might want to make is before you start doing any of this, build up the roll cage as an assembly on the floor, using the floor as like a jig to get your, and then you've got your roll cage assembled as one to hold in your hand, and then you can paint it as one, and then you don't have all these glue joints, and then you'll have a beautifully painted roll cage. And the only glue joints you'll have is actually at the feet where it mounts into the shell, and you can just use a bit of white glue or a bit of super glue just to hold that in. But you get really nice joints then, and you can sand everything and Mr. Surfacer and get it all lovely. So there we go. So going back to here, so we're going to add our seats. Seats should be painted blue, I believe. Fuel filler net going in there. You've got the mounts for your seats there, and then not sure, they don't look very realistic to me. I'd have thought they'd been side mount seats, but then this is back in the 90s, so back in the 80s really it was developed, didn't it? So painting decals going on the seats there, putting the seats in onto the floor there, building up the roll cage, which looks very comprehensive, very nice indeed. As I say, build it up as an assembly and you'll get a lovely job. Then we've got the spare wheel going together there, so we've got the spare wheel, the wheels going together, and then the spare tyre going on. It's nice to see you get a tyre. I've actually got a Toyota Stratos that doesn't have a tyre. They ask you to put the wheel in without a tyre. What's the point? Prop shaft going in here, and then we've got the anti-roll bar going in the front, got the exhaust going in, which is nice. Nice to see the tail as a separate piece, so you can thin that out and make it look lovely. This is going to be the rear differential, so you can see they're telling you not to glue that, it's got to be able to turn. So we've got the end cap going on there, which is lovely. Then we've got the rubber CV boots. I saw them on the blacks. Looks like we've got rubber CV boots, and then we've got the CV joints going in there, and then we've got our shafts going in there. Looks like they've got a ball on the end, so they can actually move around with your suspension and everything. Then we've got that brace, that girdle going in after the differentials fitted and everything. Rear suspension, we've got the trailing arms there going in. We've got the transverse links here. So very, very simple, very, very common sort of tubular, strong setup. Fully adjustable on the real car, so you've got all your adjustment for toe and camber and caster all in there without any worry whatsoever. So all of these arms would be black, and then I'm guessing the ends would all be silver because they'd all be rose jointed, I think. And this is telling us to use our hot screwdriver on the ends. So, oh dear. This all looks like it's all very weak, to be honest. All plastic pins and things, and we'll have a look when we build it. We've got screws going in there, so that's going to be nice and strong going into there. But this, I don't like the look of this at all. We'll see how big the pins are. Maybe drill the pins out and put some brass in there, or maybe a small screw with a nut from your Tamiya spares. I think that would probably be better, actually. Drill that out and put a screw and a nut in there. Right, so discs going together. So the discs are in two halves. So we've got plenty of detail on them. Is this front struts or rear struts? That's rear struts. We've got the rear struts going in here. So we've got working struts. So they're telling us to put that pin in and then assemble them together. I don't like this. I wish they wouldn't do this. It means basically you've got to assemble everything before you glue it together. So then you're dealing with a seam after it's all glued together and after it's all the spring and everything's on there. I'd rather it be able to pop in afterwards. So what you may want to do is drill that open so it's just enough to just hold it together, or do something else. I don't know, but I wish they didn't do this. But there we go. Or just cut that pip off the end and don't have the suspension working. Just let the car set on its own weight and glue everything up. You don't need working suspension. You're not going to play with it. So here we've got the same going on for the other side. So that's all nice. I expect the springs are going to be red. And then we've got lots of screws going together. Some long screws here and nuts. So they've got all the pivots and everything as screws here. So that's all going to be nice and strong. But I don't know about that trailing arm at the front there. Anti-roll bar going in the back. So we've got that link going on there. They would be rose jointed, but they don't look much like rose joint. Oh, there's a rose joint in there. Oh, I see. Okay, so what they're doing, yeah, the anti-roll bar would normally be welded to these arms here, but they're having it pivot on there. So it's all in the course of making the suspension work, which is always a bit of a bind. Engine halves going together, cam cover going on, separate spark plugs, front cover and the sump going on, which is all very nice. All the colour call outs are there. Inlet manifold going in, plenum chamber on the top. Looks like oil, fuel, or is that coolant? Not sure. This is going to be the oil manifold here. There's going to be lots of plumbing to add on there if you want a Super DTE model. That's your dipstick, so it is a wet sump. Turbo there. Is that turbo or the water pump? Yes, a turbo. Transmission going together. Get some nice metallics going on. Get some different metallics, just slightly different. Add some interest into it. And then we've got this mechanism on the end here. So this is going to be... That's going to be off the cam drives. So one's going to be... maybe for the tacho. Not sure, I can't remember now, my memory of the Lancia engine. Something I don't understand, if anybody knows, if you're a Lancia aficionado, I never found out why they swapped them around. The old 8-valve engine used to lean back, and you had the exhaust at the back and the intake at the front. So because the engine was leaning back, the exhaust manifold had a lovely straight line out, so you had very little restriction. You had your intake at the front, so it was all open there. You could have a ram air system in there. Beautiful. And the engine was linked back, so it always helped if it was front wheel drive, you get more weight behind the wheels rather than in front. Then they decided to turn it around. They put the inlet on the back and the exhaust on the front. They tipped the engine forward. So now you've got the intake is in a hot part of the engine bay. The engine's tipped forward, so all the weight is hanging over the front of the wheels. And you've got your exhaust on the front, which means the exhaust has got to go back and underneath the engine, which is giving you clearance problems with your sump and everything. Why did they do it? I do not know. The only reason I can think is to lift the transmission up to get the output shaft of the differential higher up. But I can never find out. If I look online, I looked online and it said sometime in 1985 or whatever, they decided to change the valves around, which made the engine usable in a front-wheel drive car. Hello? The engine had been in a front-wheel drive Beta from 1969, was it? So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant over. So that's all going on there. I can't remember what the cams would have driven. Urgh. Fuel pump? I can't remember. There's all going together there, and then we've got the... this is going to be the output shaft. So you've got this box here. This is going to be the transfer box going to the rear of the car. And then you've got your output shaft there going to the front. So this will be bolted to the back of the block, giving you a nice solid output, and you're also going to have equal length front drive shafts to reduce torque steer, which is nice. And then we've got our pulley assembly there with the pulleys going on. Sorry this is going on so long, but it's a brand new kit and I'm sure you will want to see it. How long have we gone now? Yeah, we've got about half an hour. So pipes going on there, we've got all that assembly going on the front, we've got the alternator going together, which is a multi-part assembly, which is going to look lovely. And then, as I say, you've got that transfer case going on the back there, starter motor. And then we've got the intercooler here going on with the throttle body and everything on there. Again, we've got optional use Kevlar decal. Why would it be optional? More pipe work going on there. We've got the exhaust going in here. Sorry, that's the intake, what we're talking about. The intake going in there, so that's all nice. And then we've got a, what's that? I'm guessing that is going to be a filler breather for the gearbox. On my Beta Coupe, they used to have a little filler in the back of the gearbox, and it was right above the diff. And as you were driving along, if you went really fast, or giving it some, the pressure of the oil splashing up against the dipstick could actually push the dipstick out. And it happened to me at Castlecombe, and I literally covered the track in oil. They were really happy with me when I did that. So they've put this great big pipe on there. Assembled view, I don't know why they're showing us that, something in particular. Obviously, when you come to build it, you'll see, oh, it's that mounting, I guess, sitting on top of there. They're talking about that mounting there, sitting on top of there. And then we've got the drive shafts going in. It's just more of a, yeah, drive shaft going into the back of the transfer box there. So the engine's fitted. We're now going to fit our, sorry guys, this is the air intake. I was thinking the air intake was here, but of course that's the intercooler, isn't it? So the air intake's going to feed into there. So basically we've got air intake here, which is going to feed into the turbo, and then the turbo is going to feed air up into the intercooler, through the intercooler, and then into the engine, And we've got these little photo etch brackets here, which are little clips that go over the top by the look of it. So they're going to look very nice. Nice to see they've gone to the effort of doing that. And then we've got here, we have a strut brace. Is that fuel injection manifold? Looks like it might be for the fuel injection. And then we've got another tank there, so I'm not sure what that one's going to be. This one over here I think is for the coolant. Who cares, whatever it is, it's another tank. So one's going to be an expansion tank for the coolant, and one is probably going to be some sort of reservoir for something else. Not quite sure really. It looks like that's going to be oil actually, because they're looking at the cap. Interesting. So basically we've got a radiator there with our oil cooler on there, and then you've got the fan assembly going on the back, your electric fan on there, which is nice. And that's all going to go then sit in the engine bay, and then we're going to fit that. Oh, these are our drive shafts there. Great big drawing just to fit those two little bits. And then here we've got our suspension arms going together again. We've got all these little plastic pins. Look, probably best to draw them out and put some metal rods in. And then we're going to build up our front struts. Same as the rears, they're just going to go together with those horrible push-in things. Building up our CV joints, you've got a nut going in there. Telling you here to use a paper clip to make sure the nut stays horizontal. And then you're going to fit all that in. Snap your steering gear on. Put your top mount into there. Snap your bottom arm into there. And then all these pivots are going to be left to do their thing and probably break. So yeah, that can see that is the fuel injection. That is the manifold there. And then we've got the pipes. The ignition manifold, not the fuel injection. And then we've got the ignition wires going in there, and it's telling us to tie them up with some copper wire. And then we've got a pipe coming off there. That's going to be the water. I'm sure that other one's going to be oil or something. I can't think what it would be. I'm probably having a brain fade at the moment. So yeah, we've got a clip there going in to hold the actual top mount, the actual strut into the top mount. So that enables the wheels to steer. It's a shame they've gone to all the trouble of having the detail of the little popping clips and the bar here and all the wiring and everything, and then you got this horrible bloody plastic lump sticking out. Ugh, why do these manufacturers do this? Right, tyres going onto the wheels here. Got the air ducts going on there, driving air into the brakes. Rear screen going in there. It's a nice touch. A lot of manufacturers don't do that, but there is a rear screen because the occupants of the car must be separate from any fuel systems or any joins in the fuel systems. You can run fuel lines through the car, but you can't have any joins in the fuel. You must have the correct approved fuel lines, obviously metal or fuel proof pipe, Goodrich hosing, whatever, but you can't have any actual connections inside the cabin. So regulations keep changing, but that's pretty much a rule of thumb, that one. And you run the fuel lines inside the car so they're not underneath getting damaged. Nice big Lancia decal going on there, so that's a nice touch. And then here they're telling you how to build up the seat belts. I would probably have built the seat belts up before I did all that. All the different lanes, they're telling you to use CA glue, but they're going to look lovely when they're all fitted. You can see there what I was saying. You've got the one strap, one harness goes around the rear bar, and then one harness goes in there. So that's a nice touch. Starting on with the body. Just look in here. When I saw that Model Factory Hero or Factory Model Hero, whatever it is, there were some door cards in that looked like the standard Lancia ones with all the stripes. So I'm assuming somebody's going to come along with the aftermarket and make some decals for that. If not, we'll have to do some trick painting. But that is saying A, which is light grey. Yeah, they shouldn't just be light grey. They should have some red and blue stripes on them. So we can do that. Easy to do with masking. Rear view mirror telling us to drill a hole in the roof, fitting the screen. Here we've got the air vents going in the top, which is a nice touch. And then we've got some hinge panels there for the A-posts. Wiper blades going together. We've got some PE rubbers by the look of it, and the actual wipers themselves are plastic. And then we've got some gauze going in there, and the door handles going on the back. For a complete body painting of the car, see the painting guide. Paint transparent parts from inside. Yeah, that's a good one. You might want to think about this because you're going to be adding parts to the body. You might want to start thinking about building up the body and painting it before you start putting all these detail parts on. In fact, probably even paint it and decal it, because you're going to have, for instance, like door handles, there's going to be a decal going over where that door handle is. Oh no, it's the red painted area, so you want to be getting that painted red before you fit that door handle, for example. So have a think about that. Rear bumper, get that glued on before you do any painting, so you don't have any horrible seams or anything. Got your bonnet, get your hinges on there before you do any painting. Again, with the tailgate, look at what you're going to be doing before you start putting bits on. You know, make sure you get things painted. So we've got a little nut there. I don't know quite what that's for. We shall see. You've got some grill there going on the back of the bonnet or on the top of the bonnet. You've got a nice decal going on the inside of the bonnet, and we've got these hinges being added. So they're going to be enabling the bonnet to open and close. I've got the same with the tailgate. We've got the hinges in there, and then we've got the hydraulic arms for the tailgate, and we've got a push rod, a stay rod for the bonnet. So you can just put them in and take them out again, I'm guessing. We'll see if there's holes there. Again, getting your door panels together, get them painted and probably deckled up before you start doing all this. You've got your door cards there with your winding handles, which are lovely. For the front plate, follow the instructions on page 3 of the painting guide. Don't know what that's all about. Let's have a look. For the front plate, follow the instructions on page 3 of the painting guide. Is that a number plate? Is there a number plate on the inside of the door? Yes. Front license plate, glued to a thin cardboard, cut it out and affixed to the lower inside of the passenger door. So there's no number plate on the actual car. The number plate goes on the inside of the door. Right. You wouldn't get away with that over here. Right, so you learn something every day, don't you? Again, we've got hinges going in there, so those doors are going together. Again, adding the mirrors, like I say, get it all painted before you start adding all these detail parts. And the other thing is, get the door hinges on there and see if you can somehow clip them in the body. Get everything sanded, make sure the doors fit nice. You know, if you've got a big gap at the bottom, you might want to add a bit of plastic strip. If when you shut the door it's sticking out a mile, you might want to remove some plastic to allow it to go in a bit further. Get your panels all fitting nicely, just as you would on a real car, before you start thinking about painting it and decaling it and stuff. You don't want to be finding out after it's all done that you need to start sanding things. Some visors going in there. Little door latches, that's a nice touch on there, and then the body's going to go on. I'm assuming you can just clip the body on, not have to glue it. So, still putting the body on. Front bumper. So it looks like the front bumper is going to go on, and then you won't be able to lift the body off. Yeah, that's the case. The front bumper is going to glue on, and then you won't be able to lift the body off unless you want to get some magnets or something in there. You've got your cooling ducts there for the brakes. Got some mesh to cut out there for the grille. Grille's cutting out there. Headlight backings going in. Nice to see they've actually got light bulbs Yay, you've seen me do my videos where I make light bulbs to go in the headlights. They've actually done that for us, so that's a nice touch. And then we've got the lovely Lancia grille going on there, which is a nice touch as well. Cut out the plastic mesh using the PE1920 as a template for the correct cutout. So we've got PE19 and 20. So you're going to put some mesh in behind the PE. So that's a nice touch. And we've got a towing eye there. And then again, get it all painted, get your decals on before you start thinking about all this detail. Double aluminum bonnet pulls. Hey, we're making those up, that's nice. They're going to look good. Wipers going on there. I thought we would have. Oh no, that's a bonnet pull again. And then we've got the front grille going on with all the pipework and everything. Adding in all the cooling ducts in here, blowing into the back of the brakes. Adding in our PE mud flaps. You want to give them a bit of a tweak, give them a bit of a curled shape to them. Cover there for the fuel filler, bolted on. So I think that was part of the regs. And then again we've got more of these bonnet pins on there on the back. So that's a nice touch. Got your what's that, spacers in there? That's little spacers by the look of it. And that's going to be going in. That's your big sump guard going underneath the engine. It's going to cover up all your lovely detail. That may be able to just go in, or maybe use some magnets or whatever to get that in. And then over the page, final bit, stretch plastic sprue. Now you'd have thought in a 12 scale kit they'd have given us a nice little turn aerial, but no, stretch sprue. So add in stretch sprue, add in stretch sprue. So they're showing you here you can have it with it open or closed. I would be tempted to see if we can get these parts in without actually gluing them, and then we can have it displayed either way. And then we've got some more detailed pictures of the model there. We've got our photo etch there, and on the back we've got our engine. Right, I'm going to take a breather. Right then guys, here I am, I'm back. Hopefully you're still awake. If you are still awake, well done. If you fast forwarded to this point, then hello. Basically now we're going to start looking at the plastic of the kit. I have taken a while going through the instructions, but there is a lot to talk about. There's a lot to see, and really, really interesting for me. So this is the body, and it looks very, very nice indeed, very, very crisp. So let's get this bag open and see what it looks like. Do love an Integrale, but as I said, I wish they'd do an S4. I really hope they do an S4, because I think that's probably the best rally car of all time. Or a 12 scale 037 would be nice. I mean, I know Model Factory Hero do them, but I've already got a mortgage. Right, so there's the tyres. I'll have a look at them in a minute. Let's get all this unhooked from there. I'll look at those in a second, get the bag out of the way. So there's the body there, all very nice and crisp. And as I say, I'm very, very lucky, I think. I am absolutely chuffed. My body is not warped at all. Well, my body is, it's all big around the middle, but this body is not warped at all. Very, very nice. Now we're going to have some mould seams on her. Where are they? There's one down the back there by the look of it. But yeah, they are absolutely tiny. Got a bit of a sharp edge down that inner wing there. So I'm guessing the mould seams along the inside of there. It's going to be up that pillar, yeah, and it's going to be along there. And we can see here, if I can catch it in the camera, you may be able to see there is a, get a light over here. You may be able to see there is a slight step there that's going to have to be sanded out. It's nothing much at all, but you want to get rid of it. We've also got a couple of raised areas here. They've got two holes in the roof here. White plastic doesn't help at all, but there's two holes in the roof which are half drilled, and they're actually very thin, so it's left a sort of couple of positive dimples on the roof there. I should be able to catch them in light. You should be able to see them. Okay, so they're going to need a bit of work, and obviously you've got a big sprue gate there to cut out. But yeah, very, very nice indeed. No short shots. Got the door hinges there for the rear doors. Got the latch mechanism in there. So for an Italeri kit, I must admit it's very, very nice indeed. Obviously I haven't built it, obviously, so I can't give it a Tamiya recommendation, but you know, looking at the instructions and stuff and the way it goes together, it kind of looks like it could have that name. Lots of ejector pin marks on the inside. They have to be sanded out if you're fussy about things like that. You can also see all the oil in here. See the black marks. So basically this is going to be an oily kit. It needs a wash. You start putting your primers down on this and stuff, they're going to lift, or you're going to get fish eyes or whatever. So give it a good old scrub, give it a good wash, deal with all your sanding first and everything. You've got some raised areas there as well where there's holes in the back, so obviously coming out of the mould a bit too quick and things are moving around and shrinking, but basically, yeah, lovely body, nice crisp plastic, nice and hard. So yeah, it's going to make for a lovely model, this one. So I'm going to put that back in the bag so it don't get all scratched up and everything. So get that back in like so. So yeah, I mean, the other thing I wanted to say, Chris over at Rally Car Miniatures. Chris is actually into rally cars. He co-drives and works on them or something. He's now into rallycross. But he's a mine of information with rallying and stuff. And he's got a new channel he's just started up, Rally Car Miniatures. Go take a look. If I think of it, I'll put a link in the comments down below. Rally Car Miniatures, go take a look, give him a sub. He's only got like 41 subs. He deserves a lot more than that. He's got many videos showing his completed models going around and a few bits and pieces. But I think he's going to start doing builds soon, aren't you, Chris? So tyres, obviously all the tyres are going to be the same because they didn't have bigger tyres front and back. But they are very nice. They're all on the sprue here. And unfortunately they've all got like a dimple where they join the sprue, which is a common fault with these type of things. But hey, you know, it can't be helped. Actually got Michelin on the side of the tyres, and it actually does say Michelin, not Michelin or Mitchell Hull or whatever. So obviously they got license to put that on there. We've got the tyre size, 24 60 118 it looks like. Tubeless radial. So yeah, very nice. You've got the lines on there as well. So tyres can make or break a model at some point to a certain extent, and these are certainly helping towards making this. And then we've got all our CV boots on there. So there's 8 of those. It's a 4-wheel drive, so there's all your CV boots. So they're all nice. There's a bit of a seam on them. Something I need to try. Someone has actually told me you can freeze vinyl parts, and then it's easier to get the seam off. That's something I should try. So I won't put them back in there. So we'll put the body back in the box so it's nice and protected, and we just chuck the tyres in there like that. In fact, we'll put the tyres underneath and then we can put the body on top. There we go, just like so. Right, leave the photo extra later. Got the chrome parts here, so we'll get these out. This bag is sealed. That's weird. So we'll open it end on. Okay, so what have we got in here? We've got our chrome parts. The chrome is very nice indeed. It is very reflective. It's not like that silver stuff you see. So the lights are going to look fantastic. We've got the bulbs to go in there. We've got the mirrors there. And just as I thought, what have they bloody done here? This is where you get the difference with people like Wingnut Wings or Edward. When you get modelers making kits for modelers, they know what the modeler wants. Now we all know that we've seen in kits where you can get the sprue where you get, say, a fuselage half of an aircraft, and instead of the sprue being on the side there, it actually goes onto the face that you glue, so that the surface that actually is exposed, if this is looking along the length of the fuselage half, this is the seam where you put the glue, the sprue goes onto there, and that way you're not damaging the actual moulded surface of the part. So Italeri have come along here, and on the grill, okay, if I could just show you, not only have they not put the sprue tab on the back where it's not going to be seen where it's glued on, they've actually put it, I can get you in here, they've actually put it forward. So you've actually got in behind here, you've got a step. So there's an area in there that's going to have chrome plating that you're not going to rub off. But on the outside, they've actually moved the sprue connection point to the very outside edge on that bit there. Great, well done. So that's going to have to be stripped and then redone with black paint and some sort of metallic paint. But all the other stuff looks like you're probably going to get away with it okay, because they're all going to be sat in recesses and stuff. But why, oh why, oh why, oh why couldn't they put the bloody sprue connection points on the backs? Oh. Anyway, let's hope that's the only gripe. Okay, now the clear parts, I don't really want to get these out. We can see that they are lovely. If I get the instructions, out on the bench, we can see that the clear parts, even through the plastic bag, they are really, really nice. You can see on the rear lights there, you've got the ribbing detail. So they're going to look great with a clear coat, with a colour coat in them. Unfortunately, in the lower area there of the quarter lights of the rear doors, we've got some sinkage. But perhaps we can polish that out, I don't know. I don't know if you can see that in there. On the bottom edge, you can see as I rock it around, you can see there's shrinkage in there. I'll have to get this out. Let's get this out and then I can tape it back up after. So we can see now just how good these parts are. Look at that. You ain't going to get clearer than that, guys. That is just absolutely stunning. They are absolutely beautiful. But unfortunately, like I say, if you look along this, be careful, I don't want to break these parts off. If you look along this lower edge here of this rear window, you can see there's some shrinkage there. The same on that one. So that's not going to look very nice, although I think those windows probably would have been Perspex anyway, but I don't know, you wouldn't have shrinkage in them. But no, they are stunning. Really, really beautiful. Just look at that, how clear that is. That's the rear screen there. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Well done, Italeri. You could not do better. I mean, that little bit of shrinkage, I'm not going to worry about that. But they are absolutely gorgeous. I think they're probably some of the clearest parts I've ever seen. And I really don't want to touch them or mark them or whatever. Okay, they're all taped up and put away properly now. Right, next bag here. We've got a couple of sprues in here. And we've got some nice big chunky parts in here by the look of it. So, get that bag over there. So first sprue we're going to look at is the white one, which is the body parts. So you can see we've got some cold fronts here where the plastic's been meeting in the mould. But they are very, very nicely done, very, very crisp, clean. Can't really see any flash anywhere. They look a little oily. There is some sinkage and some marks on there which is going to need sanding out. Yeah, you've got all that detail on the inside of the bonnet or the hood. Yeah, because it's 12 scale, it's all going to stick out like a sore thumb. You need to be making sure you really get into the, really getting all the marks out. Because if you get a nice coat, nice shiny coat of paint on here, I don't know if you can see that in that bonnet, but on that front edge, you can see it's all a bit sinky and a bit ripply and stuff. But it's only to be expected because of all the detail on the back of it. We can see the detail on the inside of the bonnet there is lovely. There's no detail inside anywhere else, obviously, because it's not going to be seen. But look at that. Ejector pin mark heaven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I don't know if I can. There's roughly 20 ejector pin marks in there. So yeah, if you're going to have your model with the bonnet displayed open, you want to get rid of them because they're going to look horrible. Bit of work involved getting rid of them, guys, I tell you. It's not supposed to get rid of sanding them out afterwards. But never mind, eh? But there we go. Very, very nicely done. The door panels are all nice and flat. Frames are all nice. No big shrinkage or anything in the door panels, which is nice. But we have got, I don't know if you'll catch it in the light, but we have got, you can see here this line going across. You can catch it in the light. It's just a cold front where the plastic's coming in and meeting. There's no step there or anything. It won't show. If you put heavy acrylic paint on there, it may show through the acrylic paint. but if you're using sort of lacquer primers and stuff, you should be absolutely fine. So here we go, this is the second sprue, obviously grey, so we've got our major parts of a roll cage here. Nice to see they've kept the roll cage simple as possible rather than having a million parts you have to try and hold together. But very nice. There's no real much of a seam line. There will be a seam line that needs to be removed, but literally there is just practically nothing there. That is really nice. Really nice. This is one of the beauties in getting one of the early production kits, guys, and not waiting. You know, you get fresh, clean molds which are real hot. You get minimal flash, if any at all. Lovely seam lines. You get good mold alignment because the tools come in together nice and tight aligning. As things start to wear out, you might start to get some misalignment. Then you get your bigger mold seams and stuff and edges and bits and pieces. Having said that, I'm looking at this now. There's quite a big mold seam on there, on the edge of that fire extinguisher. So, you know, got the handheld here. That's part of the front valance there. Rear parcel shelf here. Again with all the rivet and bolt detail on it, which is very nice. Got the exhaust there. That's the exhaust pipe there, so we can thin that out or turn up a new one out of aluminium or something. These parts here have got the Goodrich fittings on them already, which is a nice touch. But yeah, it's all fairly simple, fairly big and chunky, which it would be for a 12 scale car, and it's a nice plastic as well, but it does feel very oily. You can see the shine on my fingers. It feels very oily. So yeah, definitely gonna need to wash it. You can see you've got oil on there, look, from the ejector pins, which I can rub off on my finger. So to watch that with the oil, guys. Right, so another bag here, lots more detail parts looking at it here. Let's get this one open. Also notice there's not a single part broken off the sprues, which is a nice touch. Whoops, the box has just fallen off the bench. So let's just put this here. So we've got, whoops, so we've got our black sprue, obviously, so we've got our instrument panel, top of the instrument panel, front grille. Is that brake caliper parts there? That's not brake caliper parts, that is the brake caliper, it's one piece. Part of the, I think that's the rear subframe for the rear diff. That's the air intake there, isn't it? That's the end of the gearbox. Bits and pieces there, not sure, bits of suspension. Got the door mirrors there, inner door card handles, wipers. That's the stalks for the steering column. Engine front cover, intake manifold, radiator, fuel tank, air intake there. We've got the radiator, fan there, the actual steering wheel itself, pedals, rear anti-roll bar, starter motor, fan pulley, part of the rear suspension. That's the front strut brace, that's the rear strut brace, and bits and pieces of greeblies. So yeah, the instrument panel looks nice, all moulded detail on there, could have been made separate, but hey ho. But you can see on there the detail's good, it's all sharp, but it could have been made separate. Front grille there, very nice indeed. Got the vents moulded in there for the demisting, which is a nice touch. Radiator grille, got some nice detail on there. Nice detail on the engine front cover. It's soft on the fuel tank, to be honest, but you're not really going to see it unless you have the boot open anyway. Pulleys there, you got some nice detail on that idler there. Yeah, again, very oily. I can feel this greasy in my fingers. Wiper blades are lovely. You can see the very nice detail on the wiper blades. You've gone to town on them. And the brake calipers, as I say, one piece brake calipers with the pads all integral and everything as well. So normally you would see all that being separate parts, but it's all there. No doubt someone will come out with a big photo etch set for this. And then looking on here, we've got our silver sprue with our engine parts on. Now don't be fooled by this, guys, it's going to look soft. Silver sprues generally do. Silver takes away the sharpness. Look at some Zucchini kits if you want to see that. They terrible. You look at the instrument panels, they've got like no detail at all. As soon as you put a coat of primer on them, bang, they really pop out. Right, so what have we got here? Obviously we've got our engine halves, which is a nice touch. Nice to see that they've actually used the cylinder head for the intake and the exhaust, unlike new on the S4. They've got the exhaust manifold coming out of the block. Yeah, well done. Transfer box, a little transfer case on the back of the engine there. There's a distributor for ignition, sump. That's the power takeoff for the back of the cams. That's the pipe going into the intake. Steering column here. We've got the pulley there for alternator. Part of the turbo. Pulleys. Flanges for the takeoffs. There's some sort of master, that's probably the clutch slave cylinder there. More power takeoff bits here. More turbo parts. We've got the cam cover here. Parts of suspension. We've got the gearbox there, that's twisted round on the sprue, so we'll just move that back. And there's the main bell housing for the engine. Got some lovely detail on the engine. We've got our intercooler there, which is quite small, very small intercooler. And then we've got our struts with our uprights on there. Skirts in front of the sills. Fuel filler, again as I say, look at parts like this when you're doing your build. Start off, get those, glue them together, sit them back in the box, let them all be hard so that when you need them the seam is good and hard and you're not being held up waiting for it to do. Same with things like this, glue parts of this together and those together, and then you've got a seam that's when you come to need it, it's ready to sand, it's ready to work with, rather than, you know, you turn the page, you've got to glue these two halves together, and now you just stop. So good to do things like that. There we go. So that's a lovely sprue. Show you the detail on the engine there. It's very nice indeed, as it would be for 12 scale. Not really sure what colour the engine block would be. I think they were a steel block, these. They weren't alley. So I think the block would probably be painted black or something. We should find out. Differential there. But you can see the detail. It's there. It's nice. It's on all these parts. As I say, ignore the fact that it looks soft. It's because of this silver plastic. If I gave it a coat of grey primer, it would pop. But all lovely. You can see a dipstick there with the little loop in the top for you to grab to check the oil with. All lovely. So here this is our double up sprue. Very nice indeed, very lovely grey. I do like this grey plastic, it's nice. Again, it's lovely. Stuck together there. So we've got two there identical, so I don't need to show you both of them, we'll just look at one. Very nice indeed. Obviously we've got the seats there, so you're going to get two identical seats. I guess the seats would be the same. You generally see the rally cars, the actual co-driver seat sits lower. Got some shock absorbers there with the top mounts in there. Parts of the harness there. By the look of it, these are the, I never know what they're called, but they're the discs that go on the wheels that drive air into the brakes. Got the brakes here. Outer wheel rims, inner wheel rims there. So we've got obviously 3 here and then 3 on the other one. That makes 6. We need 5. Also of note, you've got the wheel bolts on all 3. The spare wheel wouldn't have those bolts unless they use the NASCAR type with the nuts or the bolts actually held on the wheel, so it makes for a quicker change. Let me know in the comments below, but I think they probably need to be drilled out. They would be M12. So M12, so they're going to be 1mm hole, and they're going with like a 2.5mm drill and just put a sort of cone in there and they'll look authentic then. But we've got some very finely detailed parts here. Disc brakes are made in halves so you can get the venting in them. That looks good, which you're not going to see anyway unless you take the wheels off. But all sorts of drive shaft parts here. There's some suspension components. As I say, you've got these pins on the end. They look, I don't know, they just look like they want to snap off. But anyway, seat mountings there. But yeah, I'll give you a close-up of some of the detail on that. It's all very nice, very crisp. No flash. The wheels look lovely. You can see here all these parts here with beautifully moulded detail. There's some hinge panels and everything there by the look of it. And the disc brakes, got the holes in them. I'm not sure if they should be drilled through or if they were actually embossed like the Porsche ones. If they should be drilled through, you can have some fun with sat listening to me talk about something for 8 hours while you do that. But yeah, very, very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Again, oily, so be careful of that. Put those out of the way. And then our final sprue. Don't worry, we've got some accessories and details to look at yet. Final sprues here. So that's obviously the floor. I don't need to tell you that. And then we've got, this is the central part of the floor that goes into here. We've got our door cards for the inner, for the front and back. That's the air intake for the roof by the look of it there. So yeah, that's the part of the bulkhead. So you can see we've got the main floor pan here, and we've got all the internal steel pressing detail in the floor pan, which is a nice touch. Got the top mounts here. Now this is where the strut comes through, and you put that plastic thing on there. That needs some sort of altering because it's not right. I don't like the look of that. If and when I build this, I want to do some modification to that, because that you've got this lovely detail under the bonnet. You're just going to have this plastic pin coming through with a sea washer around it. It's going to look awful. So we need to do something about that. So we'll turn the sprue over. As we see, we've got the detail on the inside, and again we've got all the detail on the underside here, all the steel pressing and everything. Our door panel here with the rib detail on the bottom, which is nice. As I said, there should be a decal to go in there. They should have given you a decal to go in there with the blue and red striping on it, but we'll have to paint that. It's the cover for the battery box. That's your steel part of the floor going in there, which is a really nice touch, because that is really, really nice that they've done that, because that is actually how it would be. You can get in there with a little ball cutter or something and thin those areas down to make the sheet metal look like sheet metal, like it really is. There's our bulkhead there, firewall, air vents. You can see the little turny knobs that you get on an airplane on there for allowing the air to come in. But yeah, all very nice indeed. It's a bit higgledy-piggledy, a bit wavery, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's cloth in the real life anyway. But we can see on here, we've got witnesses of ejector pin marks coming through. Hang on. If you look on here, you can see some circles. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 going across the floor. You can see some circles in the floor. On the back, there's not ejector pin marks there. It's weird. That is weird. But on the inside, it is slathered in ejector pin marks. So that's going to need some work. Obviously, you're not going to see those because they're under the fuel tank. You've got one there, one there. That's going to be underneath the battery box, so that's okay. These here are going to be visible. They're going to be visible down there. Or are they? No, they're going to be covered by that. So yeah, this may be okay most of them. Just get rid of those down there. You'd be good to go. But obviously on the top mounts, you've got those down there. You want to get rid of them. But yeah, all in all, very nice, very crisp, nice hard plastic. It's yeah, it's going to be lovely kit to build, and it's going to be a lovely kit when it's made by the look of it. As I said, it looks like it looks like it's got a bit of Tamiya in it somewhere. So this is our bag of bits. I'm not going to get this out for fear of losing any. Let's see, staple. Let's have a look at this tubing actually. Let's get this open. Okay, so I've got a little bag of goodies here. Obviously, I'm not going to get the screws out. That's stuck in there with the masking tape they've wrapped around it. If you've bought this kit and you're going to put it in your stash, I would suggest taking this masking tape off, because that is going to dry. As we all know, this cheap and nasty masking tape dries with like a white powder left behind, and that's going to make those not very nice at all. So if I were you, I would take the masking tape off and just put it in loose like that. But you can see we've got this is the ribbon for the seat belts, which is very nice indeed. How wide is it? I think it looks like about 5 mil. It's just over 6mm wide, so 6 times 12 is 72. 72, yeah, so it's about right, 3 inches, so it's about right. So that's nice, the harness is the correct width. So there we go, so I'm going to put that back in that bag. As I say, if you're getting this kit and sticking it in your stash, get that masking tape off, because as we all know, this stuff dries with that white powdery deposit, and it's not going to come off, it's going to be in those belts and stay there. Right there, so we've got all our hosing here, so this thick hosing here is quite stiff, so that's the normal stuff, and the trouble is when you try and bend it, as you can see, it kinks. So I hope we haven't got any tight bends with that. This one here is the typical sort of Tamiya type stuff, and that's going to bend okay. It goes a bit thin, but it's going to bend okay, so that's fine. Now this one here, I've never seen anything like this. This is really thin. Again, get this horrible bloody masking tape off. Okay, you don't want that on your model at all. But this is, you can see this is really super flexible. Very nice stuff, that is. And then again, we got this horrible masking tape on here, so we'll get this off. And once again, it's not as flexible as that stuff, but it's certainly very nice. You can have a really nice tight bend in it without it all kinking up. So that's a nice touch. We've got some copper wire there, that's for tying all your leads together. And then in here we've got some screws, nuts, and our suspension springs. So all in there, you can see them all in there loose. But also in mine I got this bag here, and it says use this as nut 01. And I had a look at the instructions, it's a bit worrying because it says nut 01, there's 6 of them, and there's only 5 in there, but we have got some of those in there, so hopefully I can get away with using one of these. I don't quite know what the difference is. Bit strange. Maybe they've had a quality issue. Are there 6 in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of those in there, so I don't know. But they're giving you this one to say use as nut 01. I don't know what the difference is. They look exactly the same to me. Oh no, maybe slightly larger thread. So maybe the thread in those is too small. But I'm not going to open the bag to find out. We'll find out when we build it. So that's all our bits and pieces there. And then finally, you'll be glad to know, what are we on now, hour and a half? Yeah. We've got our photo etch here, which feels like stainless steel. Is it magnetic? No, so it's stainless steel or it's nickel plated brass. I'm thinking it feels too heavy to be brass. Let me just grab a sanding stick. Yeah, it's steel. So stainless steel, so I'll have to do some work and find out how to anneal. I think we just heat it the same as brass and let it cool and get these floor pans bended up nice. But you can see we've got our visors on there. We've got part of the harness there by the look of it. There's the map box instrument panel there. Another part of the harnesses. We've got all the harness buckles here, loads of them. Some grills and meshes and stuff. There's our bonnet pins, which are lovely. I'll show you close up now. Fuel filler, rubber mud flaps. They're going to have like a curl put in them. Let's just have a look and see how thick this is. 0.2, so it's like 1/8 thou thick, so it's nice and thin. But yeah, wiper blades over there, and our pedals across here. Yeah, very nice indeed. Lovely bit of photo etch. Does look very Tamiya-esque. So, give you a close up of all of that. See the detail there on the fuel filler, wiper blades. Then coming across here, you've got all our buckles for our belts. Very nice indeed. Very pleasing. So put that away. And then finally on the back of here we've got the typical Funnily enough, typical Tamiya and Italeri mesh, which they often give you in their kits, and you sort of cut out bits of it and glue it in. I think it glues with normal normal cement, but that ought to be, we will find out on that one. So there we go, that has been the brand new kit from Italeri of the Lancia Delta HF Integrale 16 valve 4-wheel drive, all singing, all dancing. I think the record still stands. It's the most successful rally car ever made. They certainly just won and won and won. But Lancia, they win everything. They enter stuff and they just wins. You know, I mean, just look at this history of the 037 put up against the Quattro, and it won. I mean, you know, it's just incredible. So there we go. So all in all, a lovely kit. I will give it a strong 8.5 out of 10. It would be a 9 out of 10 if it wasn't for this stupid chrome. They need to get their act together. You know, this 2021, guys, is not 1980 anymore. You know, put sprue nibs in areas where they're not going to be seen. It wouldn't have been so bad if they put that on the bottom of the grille. You know, rather than on the side, have it on the bottom. You got them right on the top in the middle. They could have easily had those sprue connection points on the back, and then you'd have had a lovely chrome grille. And for a model this size, you're going to need a nice big chrome grille. You know, look how prominent it is on the real thing. It's you know, crazy, guys. It's bloody, it's annoying. So that's the one issue. The other issue, I think, is ejector pin marks. The fact that the bonnet or the hood is absolutely plastered in them, and the floor pan and some other bits as well, weren't we saw had lots of ejector pin marks. That doesn't help very much either. But I mean, it's big. You know, you got this huge floor pan. You got to get that out of the mold. It's not going to be easy. So you know, yeah. But it would have been better if they'd have put one there rather than up there. You know. But hey, it is what it is. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. It's probably the longest review I've ever done, which is why I put a little note at the beginning about moving forward. But I think when you get a big kit like this, it's worthy of a long review. It's a big old model. It's got a lot going on. As I say, I give it an 8.5 out of 10 because of the couple of issues that we discovered going through. But then, you know, if we're going to pick on the nice stuff, the body, it is a big piece of plastic, and I'm very, very lucky that mine's nice and straight. The clear parts are simply stunning, absolutely stunning. As I say, the one thing I would do, if you have got this kit and you're going to put it in your stash, get your bag of bits and pieces and get all that bloody horrible masking tape in there. You must know what I mean. You must have seen it where, you know, masking tape has been on something for just a couple of weeks and you peel it off and it leaves this white residue behind. And if you leave it a few months, it sort of crystallizes and turns into this white powdery, I don't know, almost like cement that's stuck into everything. You can imagine that getting that. It's going to ruin that belt material particularly. So get it all off and then just peg your bag up like I have, and then you can put it in the box with your other parts. But yeah, the decal sheet, I mean, absolutely gorgeous, really, really nice, very, 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 very glossy. As I say, cartograph. I didn't notice on this one. Yeah, this one's cartograph as well. So yeah, they're all going to go down lovely. Microset and sole, they're going to be an absolute dream to work with. So I must find a bag to put those in because I don't want them to get damaged. But all in all, guys, I'm very, very pleased with it. I know that some people in particular, you know, like Sarah Jane, have been wanting to see this kit, and I've tried to do it as thoroughly as I can. If there's anything you want to see that I haven't covered, I'll do a part 2. You know, if there's something that I should have made a bit more emphasis on or whatever, then just let me know. But big disappointment about that grille, you know, especially in this day. As I say, it's 2021, guys. Come on, you know, we've got many kits. You know, you've got Takom out there who use this with the sprue on the side rather than on the edge of the part, and they do it on things like sprockets where you've got all the detail, and then you've got things like this where you should have it on the side and it's actually on the edge, and not only on the edge, they've brought it forward. You know, so basically, yeah, things like that really, really get on my nerves. But other than that, I'm really, really pleased with it. As I say, you can get the Model Factory Hero one or factory model hero, whatever it is, I can never remember. But have a look at them. They're sort of, you know, you can get them for £500, you can get them for £700, you know, so this one at £200, is it a bargain? I don't know. Those model factory hero kits are gorgeous. I think I should, before I go away in a big wooden box, I think I should spoil myself to one of those, because they are really, really gorgeous. But yeah, on the whole, I'm really, really pleased with this, and it will build into a beautiful, beautiful model, I'm sure. All they need to do now is give us an 037 and an S4, please. Thanks. And maybe a Fiat 131 Abarth in 12 scale would be nice as well. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon, guys. As I say, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. You'll get notified of when I've got other reviews coming up. I have got another kit on the way, which I think will be here tomorrow, and I know there's going to be a lot of happy people when they see what it is. So keep your eyes peeled. So and that'll probably be my Christmas build as well, to be honest. I was going to do the Saturn V, but I think I'm going to do this new one that's coming tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.